He begins to lead small, mobile detachments across the desert on hit-and-run missions. One of his favorite targets is the Hejaz Railway that runs from Medina all the way to Damascus in the north. Lawrence's genius for guerrilla warfare soon emerges. The exploits of this enigmatic soldier and scholar will be popularized 45 years later in the epic Hollywood film, Lawrence of Arabia.
Come on, man!
On July 6, 1917, Lawrence and his Arabs achieve a victory that the British generals in Cairo consider to be impossible. They capture the strategic port of Akaba on the Red Sea, attacking across 600 miles of desert. Lawrence returns to Cairo to report his victory to General Allenby. Dressed in Arab costume, he creates quite a stir at headquarters. But Allenby has a liking for the unorthodox and appreciates Lawrence's abilities. After the victory in Akaba, Allenby agrees to supply the Arabs with more guns and more gold. Throughout 1917 and 1918, the Arab revolt plays havoc with the Turkish line of communications, pinning down about 30,000 enemy troops that cannot be used against Allenby. But they stay clear of the fortress at Medina.
The idea of assaulting Medina was not in accord with our best strategy. We wanted the enemy to stay in Medina, and in every other harmless place in the largest numbers, so long as he gave us the other 999 thousandths of the Arab world.
During the first 3 weeks of May 1918, Arab rebels blow up the Hejaz Railway 25 times. Prince Faisal soon becomes London's favorite Arab leader. By September 1918, General Allenby is ready for his final push toward Damascus. Lawrence and his men destroy 4 miles of Turkish railroad tracks in support of Allenby's advance. The enemy is clearly demoralized and falling apart. The Arab revolt gains more energy as other Arab tribes join Faisal's army. Some of them fight for independence, but most of them fight for the spoils of war. As the official British history notes, they saw their old enemy reeling to destruction. They saw a vision of freedom, and nearer at hand, a vision of loot. At the start of 1918, the British offensive grounds to a halt after the capture of Jerusalem. The Turks have time to gather reinforcements and strengthen their defensive lines. From Germany, an elite fighting unit called the Yildirim, or Lightning Group, has arrived, led by General Erich von Falkenhayn. The fresh German troops joined the attack with machine guns, artillery, and a complement of brand new fighter planes. In Germany, General Hindenburg and his staff have been planning a great offensive on the Western Front. On March 21, 1918, they unleash their mighty attack. Outnumbered by more than 2 to 1, the Allied front collapses. Fearing that the war might be lost, London recalls 90,000 of General Allenby's best men from Palestine, along with heavy artillery, to block the German advance.
Here I have raided the Hejaz Railway, 40 miles east of Jordan, and have done much damage, but my little show dwindles now into a very insufficient affair in comparison with events in Europe.
When Allenby's men arrive in France, they are quickly reminded by their comrades in arms that the real war is in France, not in a far-off desert. Allenby isn't the only general losing troops in Palestine. Enver Pasha has decided to begin a grand offensive in the Caucasus, where the Russian army has disintegrated. He steals some of the best troops from Palestine and doesn't even bother to consider